there will be a rise of Islamic extremist activities in the U.S. soil, where there will be shootings and attacks on public places, schools, churches, government buildings, which would be domestic terrorism. This is to fight the U.S. from within, to destabilize the nation and to set the nation in chaos. We should pray for the nation.
Last night in the nation's capital, a gunman stormed the security perimeter at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The president, the first lady, the vice president, cabinet members, and more than 2,500 guests were gathered to celebrate the First Amendment and freedom of the press. But after shots were fired, the president was evacuated. It was at the same hotel where President Ronald Reagan was nearly assassinated by John Hinckley 45 years ago.
Stay down.
We don't know the motive of the gunman at this hour, but we do know a man charged a security checkpoint at the Hilton where the White House Correspondents' Dinner was taking place. You see the video on your screen. And he was charging toward a room full of journalists, politicians, and the President of the United States.
Officials say a Secret Service officer was shot at close range during a confrontation, but survived because of a protective vest.
The horrific scene unfolding at one of the largest synagogues in the U.S. Authorities say a driver rammed his truck through the barricades and smashed through the front door of Temple Israel just outside Detroit. Smoke could be seen coming from the building. Sources telling ABC News the driver was armed with a rifle. The Oakland County Sheriff says armed security opened fire, the suspect's truck bursting into flames. 140 children among those inside at a preschool, the race to get the children out. The attacker is dead. Tonight, investigators are now trying to determine a possible motive.
Tonight, the chilling new video appearing to show the man police say drove a truck full of explosives into one of the nation's largest synagogues, buying $2,000 worth of fireworks just 2 days before the attack, telling them the fireworks were for a celebration to mark the end of Ramadan.
And what we're now learning about that suspect, a naturalized citizen from Lebanon, posting that his family members were killed during an Israeli airstrike in Lebanon last week.
Here in New York City, outside the official home of Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Two suspects allegedly trying to detonate homemade bombs right during a protest. Authorities say they wanted it to be bigger than the Boston Marathon bombing.
You don't get to come from... Tonight, these dramatic new images show an 18-year-old hurling a homemade bomb in what police say was meant to be a terror attack bigger than the Boston Marathon bombing. Another teen then hands him a second device. He ignites it, sprints down a sidewalk, hops a police barricade, and is tackled while the device is still smoking. Police say 18-year-old Amir Balat and 19-year-old Ibrahim Kayumi drove from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and told investigators they were inspired by ISIS.
This was not random violence. This was a planned attack motivated by extremist ideology and inspired by a violent foreign terrorist organization.
The FBI is investigating a possible act of terrorism outside of Las Vegas. Now, this comes after a driver armed with guns and explosives attempted to ram his car into a power facility not far from the famous Hoover Dam.
Inside the car, police say they found the body of 23-year-old Dawson Noah Maloney with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And that's not all.
2 shotguns, an AR-style pistol, 2 devices described as flamethrowers.
Evidence gathered at the scene led them to a nearby hotel where they found explosive materials. Investigators say the suspect drove cross-country from his home in Albany.
In a message to his mother, the suspect referred to himself as a dead terrorist son and stated he felt he had an obligation to carry out his act.